Hello guys, it's Pam from Camper Jazz and welcome to a cold Easter Monday at the start of the NC 500. Well, I'm about 30 miles into it at the moment, and it was a lovely day yesterday, Easter Sunday, but today it is very windy and very cold again. But at least at the moment it's not raining. I hope you all had a lovely Easter, and I'd like to send a big thank you to Anne, who bought me several cups of coffee on buymeacoffee.com, and I am very, very grateful. Thank you very much, Anne. That was really, really kind of you. I know Anne's been following my journey for quite a while now. I'm surprised she hasn't got bored of me waffling on, but there we go. And there will of course be some doggy treats purchased with that when I get to the next town that's got a decent sized pet store, as mine are pretty finicky about what they eat. So they've got their favourites, and I tend to stick to that rather than spending money on stuff and wasting it. So I snapped this one yesterday, and it's the first new lambs that I've seen. So I thought I'd cover another topic today regarding car life, and that is finances, because Anne actually asked me on YouTube a few days ago, how do we help support your journey, your travels, because there's no button that you normally can do a thanks on YouTube. Well, the sad fact of the matter is that many smaller YouTube channels never get to the point of being monetized, for the simple fact of YouTube's requirements. First of all, you have to have your 1,000 subscribers. Well, some people seem to do that overnight. Other channels have to grow slowly, and it's taken me about 14 months to get to 1,000 subscribers. I had YouTube on my PC before, but I was only a watcher. And then once you've met that 1,000 subscribers requirement, there's another one. And this one states you have to have over 3,000 hours of watch time on your videos from your subscribers before you can move to the next stage. Now, if you think about it, the average video, anything from 10 to 30 minutes, that's going to take a lot of people spending a lot of time watching you on YouTube in order to get that far. And the only way you can really do it is by having a high number of subscribers that watch your videos religiously from start to finish. So I've spoken to other YouTubers who are monetized, and some of them have done it quickly. Some of them it's taken a long time. Some of them that I see on YouTube seem to grow quickly because they use quite a lot of drama in their videos. As we YouTubers call it, clickbait. You get the big header of some awful catastrophe that's happened, and it turns out to be absolutely nothing whatsoever. So that's how people grow their channels, and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make the videos that I enjoy making about the places that I visit, and hopefully you'll come along for the journey and enjoy it with me. I've got a whinging lolly. She sat here because Ted's eating some food, and they've been having a bit of an argy-bargy over who's going to have what. So she's in her cage for 5 minutes while he has his dinner. Yeah, so I took a little break. She's had her dinner, she's back out, and Ted's asleep as well. And so some of my fellow YouTubers have recommended me to join up to a site called buymeacoffee.com. And there is a link in my about info on my homepage on YouTube to that. And for me, my user tag is buymeacoffee.com/camperjazz. So if you wanted to buy me a coffee or the doggies a treat, you can use that to do so. And that's the only monetization that I am likely to have on my YouTube channel, because I very much doubt I will ever get to 3,000 hours in a year. At the moment, I think in the last year I've had about 1,000 hours. So I'd need to get 3 times as many subscribers at least in order to be doing the same amount of hours that YouTube needs to monetize me. And then it's only on the scale 1, and it's a climbing scale from that. So you have to do more and more to jump through the loops. So before I play you my little video of my latest travels, I'm going to just tell you a bit about car life and finances. I think most of my regular subscribers will already know that my husband passed away in 2021. I went through quite a lot of aggro over the next 6 to 9 months, with his pension company refusing to pay out the dependent's pension because we weren't actually married, although we'd been together for 18 years, both having been married before. And that was one battle. The disability company took back his vehicle, leaving me stranded in a little village with a pretty poor bus route. And yeah, that was just 14 days after he died. The pension company froze the pension benefits, and carer's allowance and his disability benefits all stopped. And Universal Credit gave me 5 days after he died to attend a back to work interview. So things weren't great at that time. So let's not be morbid. There's a pretty swan I saw the other day. And I had to find a job. I hadn't worked for a number of years, so that was a challenge. So all in all, it left me entering car life this time, after doing 9 months last year and 4 months the year before that, with very little savings. I'd lived in the car for a month after moving out of the flat that I had over winter. I continued working for that month purposely so that I could save up that money and have some cash to take with me when I set off on this trip. And so I set out on this journey with £400 savings. Most of that has now disappeared because obviously I had a few issues with the car and the brakes that needed sorting out. I got stranded for a week in Tarbert, really unable to go anywhere, so I was burning through a bit more gas and so forth. And anyway, I also got myself a new sleeping bag because mine just wasn't keeping me warm. So savings do deplete quickly if things go wrong with the vehicle or you find you need to replace something. So try, if you are embarking on this as a choice, to have some savings, and also have a backup plan if you can. My backup plan, if I break down, is that I get towed back to my daughter's. There is a little car park at the rear of her house. I will stick the car there and I will stay in it until such time as I can get it fixed and back on the road again. So other than recommending that you have some savings behind you, yes, basically, how much money do you need to live on? Well, that depends on how much travelling you want to do. Now, I know those that have seen my videos go, oh, you're going here and you're going there. Well, yes, I am, but I have been away since the start of February. It's now the 1st of April. So in those 2 months, I have done quite a lot, but I've stayed in places for quite a while as well. If you are living in your vehicle, as opposed to just staying in it and going back to a home at the end of a week, a month, 6 months, whatever, then it's your home. It's your little house on wheels, and you don't spend every day travelling and going to exciting places. Sometimes you just park up, put the kettle on and keep warm as best you can. It does of course help if you have a good view. And the main reason for doing that, of course, is that fuel is very expensive. Yes, my car's a petrol. When I left Torquay, I was paying 136.9. Around Scotland, you are happy if you find it at 148 or 150.9 a litre. So that means that you have to conserve your fuel. Now, I have to use my engine to keep me warm when it's really, really cold. And I have to use it to charge up my power bank, because that's how I power my phone and my iPad. I don't have lots of electrical items to power. It is just the basics, and I've got a little fan that runs off USB if it gets warm. We can only hope. And I've got a battery charger for ordinary AA type batteries that power my lights. And so if I'm low on power, I've also got a packet of ordinary batteries that I can use in my lights if I need to, so that I've still got light to read or whatever. So some days you just stay put, and sometimes you stay put for 3 or 4 days if you're in a spot where you're not bothering anybody, it's quiet, and you know, you can do that. And you need to get fresh shopping. I don't have a cool box. I just use a little box that I put any fresh meat and so forth in, butter, and I will have one frozen item in that box, maybe some mashed potato, which is quite easy then to warm up, or a bag of hash browns or a bag of peas, anything like that that will keep the other food cold and that I can use for a couple of days. And you may all have heard about my cooker and how annoying it is. I use a gas canister cooker with a single burner. I am hoping to upgrade that at some point, but I would have to slightly reconfigure the setup in the car to get a 2-burner cooker with a proper gas bottle, because I'm finding the canisters have gone up a great deal in price. A packet of 4 used to cost me $3.99 at Home Bargains. Now they rarely seem to have them, and when they do, they're either $5.99 or $6.99. And in the camping shops in Scotland, I've been finding that they are selling them individually for around $3.99 each. Now, one of those, if you cook a dinner, make a few cups of coffee, it's gone. So that's quite expensive. So I am thinking of changing over to a gas bottle. So if you're just starting out with a conversion and you're planning on starting car life or van life, I think a gas bottle would be my preference now. And if you have room, obviously a cool box, but then you will need a decent power bank in order to run it, because most of them draw a minimum of 40 watts an hour. Well, my 200 watt power bank would run for 5 hours on a cool box exclusively and charge nothing else. So think about all of that. Think about what cool box you use, whether you need a cool box or can manage with picking up ice along the way, and whether you're going to be on a site or wild off-grid camping, which is what I do. I can't afford to stay on sites, because if you're going to be on a site, then obviously you can power everything up, recharge things, run things, so that's not an issue. So that would be my other recommendation, is a decent cooker, a decent cool box, but only if you have a decent power bank or a means to regularly charge your power bank up. Not so bad if you have solar panels during the summer when it's likely to give you enough light to do that. I don't have any solar panels, I couldn't afford them. I would like to have solar panels, so I will try and save up for them at some point. But also the space in my car is very limited, so it would need to be folding panels that matched my EcoFlow, and they are quite expensive. So yes, before you embark on your car life or van life adventure, think about your heating, your battery capacity for your power bank, or whether you're running it from the engine, and how you're going to keep your food cool. Basically all of the sort of general housekeeping things that you need to think about. Do that when you're planning your conversion, ideally. So, budget. What do you need a month to live off? Well, I have to pay my bills before I think about travelling. And my bills, including my car insurance, car tax, my pet insurances on the doggies, debts that I still have to pay, my phone and my data package, although that's not very expensive because I've got a really, really old phone. It leaves me with around £80 a week to actually live on, and that includes my gas, my petrol, food, any clothes that I have to replace or repair, shoes, etc. Basically, I've got £80 a week to live on once I've paid my bills. And that's what we've managed to live on, travelling up to Scotland and travelling around Scotland. I do have a National Trust and a Scottish Heritage membership. Both of those have been bought for me by family and in the past, and so I have been lucky enough to go to some nice places without it costing too much. So if you're going to embark on this life and you like visiting historic places, suggest to relatives, if they want to contribute to birthday and Christmas presents, that those would be ideal gifts, because then it gives you somewhere nice to go. But yes, so basically that's what I am managing to live off. It's going to be another, I think, 3 years before my debts are paid, because I can't afford to pay vast amounts of money off them each month. So that's what I will have to live on. So when people say, oh, well, couldn't you get a bigger power bank? Couldn't you fit solar? What about fitting a diesel heater, etc., etc.? Why don't you upgrade to a bigger vehicle? That's the one that I normally get. I'm living in a Honda Jazz because that's what I've got, and I haven't got any money to buy anything else. At the moment, I'm trying to save a little bit each week out of that money, because I've got my MOT in July, and if my car's off the road, that's not going to be a good thing, because I've only got public roads to park it on at my daughter's houses. So I have to try to save enough between now and then for that. So my £80 a week is probably not £80 a week by the time I take some money out to try to save some money. So that's my situation, and I'm still smiling because I'm still enjoying my trip, even if it means that I've now spent 2 days sat on this harbour, and I'll probably spend a third, because I don't want to use up all my fuel. I want to move further up the NC500 during the week, and I will do that when I think, right, I can budget my fuel this week now. I've done the shopping that I need to do for a few days, and that's how I live. It's basically day to day, and you're surviving on the basics with the odd little luxury thrown in. I will occasionally go for a coffee when I'm out. On rare occasions, there aren't many of them. And I have had one ice cream since I've been away. That was a real treat. But you do have to be really careful of your budget. Bearing in mind, I am feeding 2 dogs as well. 2 fussy, finicky dogs. So, yeah, my recommendation, yeah, that's what you can just about manage on. And I know to some people that may seem a lot, that are managing on less than that. That's great. If you can manage on less than that. I can't. I've got my bills to pay. And with petrol for the car, as I said, she's an old car. She does burn it quite quickly. That's the basic minimum that I can live on. So I have been thinking about ways to make some more money. My daughters have recommended I go onto TikTok and increase my following there. I think I've been on TikTok 2 years since my granddaughter invited me, and I think I've got 16 followers. So I don't think that TikTok's quite for me. But I will continue to try to grow my YouTube channel. I will try to make my videos interesting in the future. I'll try not to waffle on too much, to show a bit more of the dogs and a bit more of cooking when I can get my cooker sorted out, because it's pointless me trying to cook anything on that piece of useless ironware. And I will carry on trying to make my little videos for you to enjoy. So there we go. That's me. That's my budget. That's how I do car life. If you've got any suggestions and they're helpful, well, please pop them down in the comments. If you'd like to buy me a coffee or the doggies a treat, that would be great. If you don't want to and you enjoy watching my videos, well, that makes me happy as well. And I hope you'll stay with us for the long term and enjoy our trip around the NC 500 coming up shortly. At the moment, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of video from my recent trip to Fort Augustus. And then I think the next bit was Bewley, because I took the Foyers route. And then I doubled back to Drumnadrodget because I'd booked to go and visit Urquhart Castle, and I could only get in on one of the tours on one particular day. So I did a bit of a loop there. So, yep, today Fort Augustus, Bewley, and then coming up in the next video, it's going to be a visit to Urquhart Castle. I'll leave you with my video. Bye for now. Managed to park up, and we are wandering up to the Caledonian Canal Centre, which has a gift shop, a cafe, and a big information area telling you all about the canal and how it was built. And Fort Augustus has a series of 12 locks that takes ships off the canal and out into Loch Ness. That bridge ahead takes the main traffic from Fort William through to Inverness, and yes, it does swing open for the ships to pass through. Fort William has lots of little gift shops, places to eat and drink. And you can choose to walk up through the locks and take a nice walk out that way, or you can head down along the canal bank and out to the end of the locks where the canal enters Loch Ness. And that is what we're going to do this morning. And hopefully we won't get wet, because it has been raining on and off, and some of those showers have been quite heavy. And this is the Clansman Centre, and the cruises out onto Loch Ness run from there. And here we have some video I took of the old Fort Augustus Bridge. Not looking in very good condition. I don't think that's ever going to be put back into use again. And as we're getting closer down to the loch, you can really feel the wind picking up. And I don't think Lolly was enjoying it. Ted didn't mind too much, but yeah, it was windy. So I'm just going to show you the video that I took. Excuse the noise of the wind. I've tried to tone it down a bit. And yeah, everyone wants to go out onto the end and get a selfie out there. And there's lots of selfie sticks about. I don't have a selfie stick, I just hold my iPad. And that's just a view of Loch Ness for you. And there's another little cafe cum restaurant that you can walk to over the other side of the canal bank. And in the distance is the old abbey that now I believe is a school. I'm not sure on that, but I think so. And the tourists seem to be enjoying jumping onto other people's boats. And that actually is the wind blowing Lolly's lead in my hand. Well, that was my little Rottweiler thinking that that boat is some big monster. Those are the pleasure boats that can take you out for a tour around Loch Ness. And they run just from the Clansman Centre opposite. And this is a little bit of video, just a clip that I took in 2021 when I came back to Scotland and spent some time here. And there weren't that many boats going through the locks today, so last year I was a lucky person. I got to witness this beautiful tall ship going through, and so I've put a little bit of the footage into this video for you, which explains why it looks like a lovely day on this video, because it was. So leaving Fort Augustus, there are a couple of routes you can take over to Inverness. My favourite is through the Great Glen. And you have to hunt for them, but there are some nice little off-road park-ups running between Fort Augustus and Inverness along the side of Loch Ness. And always with a stop at Foyers where you can see the waterfall. You can go and have a cuppa at the Waterfalls Cafe. And of course, they have built some lovely new toilets and facilities just next to the Waterfall Cafe. And I've put a little bit of footage of my walk down to the waterfall. It's only maybe 10-minute walk down, although it is quite steep and quite slippery. So passing through Inverness, big city, I've been there, I don't tend to stop again. But I do love the little village of Bewley.
It's got lovely alpacas.
It's got the abbey. Now, actually, this photo and the little bit of footage coming up was taken from a previous trip, because when I got to the abbey, intending to film it for you, it was closed and covered in scaffolding. So I found this bit of footage that I took last year when I went, and I thought rather than miss it out and not be able to show you how lovely it actually is, I thought I would include this for you. So that was just a very brief look at the abbey without the scaffolding, and then we carried on our walk around the village. They've got a figure of a monk, and the little sign is asking for donations for the Bewley in Bloom, and there's a South Africa memorial for Lord Lovat and his troops that took part in the Africa campaign. And after that there were quite a few little shops around Bewley village itself, but we walked down towards the river and there was a nice pair of swans, and we also came across a really interesting house, well, an interesting garden. They had so many decorations in it. I would imagine it's one of those houses that's all lit up at Christmas too. And next, on our way out of Bewley, we stopped at the Robertson's farm shop. Robertson's make a lot of jams and biscuits and different produce, and they're all for sale here at their farm shop, along with the alpacas and the Highland cows. They're not for sale, but you can go and view them. And some lovely sheep with beautiful little lambs. Join us next time for our visit to Urquhart Castle. Please give our video a like, share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed, click the subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.